as a converted Lancaster bomber took off on the first civil flight.
And Britain begins the fight for her old place on the skylines of the world.
It's unlikely Theresa May will have such an easy ride. With not one, not two, not three, but 4 local Conservative councils lining up to take legal action against the government if Heathrow expansion gets the go-ahead. One is even in her backyard, here in Windsor and Maidenhead, where we started our journey across the Tory opposition.
There are very strong feelings here with a third runway would be a mile closer, planes 650 feet lower over Maidenhead. So I think our Maidenhead residents understand that as well, and they are very strongly pro-Gatwick compared with Heathrow.
Next stop, Hillingdon, right next to the airport.
The current noise footprint of Heathrow affects 725,000 people. If it were allowed to build a third runway, it would have a noise larger than the 5 biggest airports in Europe put together. That is unthinkable.
Then on to Richmond, where the local Tory MP, Zac Goldsmith, has already promised to stand down if Heathrow goes ahead. Do you think the third runway will ever get built?
No, absolutely not. I think it's a terrible waste of time, it's a waste of money, and I think it's, in the old words of Quinton Hailsham, stark staring bonkers.
Our final leg took us to Wandsworth, where we showed the Conservative leader a leaflet from 2009. I thought the last sentence was quite interesting.
Yes, fight to stop the third runway.
It was from Theresa May. This is where she promised to fight against a third runway, after saying this when Labour gave it the go-ahead.
I hope the Secretary of State recognises that as a result of this announcement, nobody is going to take this government seriously on the environment again.
It appears her own council leaders feel the same now.
It's been a very straightforward position from Wandsworth, which is that at the moment people are having to face the noise and the pollution from the runways as well as the traffic leading to Heathrow Airport. Nobody's justified why we should continue to have it and continue to have more of it.
Heathrow supporters, though, insist the government should give it the go-ahead tomorrow.
It's at virtually full capacity now, so we do need a decision that will, I hope, grant Heathrow the chance to move forward, and that in turn will create 40,000 jobs in London alone and some 10,000 apprenticeships.
Despite its many supporters, any decision to expand Heathrow looks sure to end up in the courts. Carl Mercer, BBC London News.
Meanwhile, a massive campaign supporting the case for Gatwick has been running for the past few years. The head of Gatwick says a second runway there is the best option because previous attempts to expand Heathrow have repeatedly failed. Let's get more from Leanne Rinney, who's at Gatwick this evening. Leanne.
Well, you'll remember, of course, back in 2010 that a group of campaigners came together and successfully challenged the government's plans to build a third runway at Heathrow in the High Court, with the judge agreeing that it was at odds with the government's climate change targets. Now, tonight, Gatwick say they don't want another false start for Britain. They say building a second runway here at Gatwick would be much more environmentally friendly. Now, just today, the chairman of Gatwick, Sir Roy McNulty, has said that people can be confident that air quality around Gatwick will be legal.
But there's still strong opposition to Gatwick expansion from environmental groups, despite the airport's promises.
Yes, that's right. Just last month, a dozen or so campaign groups wrote to the Prime Minister, those were from Surrey and Sussex, writing to Theresa May, saying that they would consider legal action if Gatwick expansion goes ahead. Of course, that would push back construction possibly, but that is a minor problem for Gatwick bosses here tonight, considering what impact the government's decision could have tomorrow.
Leanne Rinney from Gatwick, thank you.